Hey guys, ZFR here, and I am here today to do something a little special. I usually talk about video games and stuff on this channel every now and then I'll talk about TV, which I am doing today. I'm going to be talking about a returning TV series today, which is the new Dragon Ball Z Super series. In case nobody knows what that is, they are making a new Dragon Ball Z TV show or a series. And it's being made by the original creator. I think I can't remember. Is he being made by? I think it's being made by the same people who made the movie and everything, or or they're all working together on it or something. So but at the end of the day, it's new Dragon Ball Z, which I think is cool because I did like Dragon Ball a lot. What is one of my favorite series of all times. I just think it's a pretty cool. So now I will say that you can't actually get this in English right now. Like you have to watch it in Japanese with English subtitles, so you'll have to do a little bit of reading if you plan to go out and watch this after this. So just be aware of that. But there are, but it's worth the watch. I would say it was just so great to see a new Dragon Ball. To see something new with Dragon Ball Z, just to see the new series come alive. And man, it cool. It's cool, guys. It really is. But anyway, during the episode, it pretty much takes place right after Majin Buu gets beat. Right after they beat Majin Buu, I think it's taking place sort of right between the end of the Majin Buu saga and where the Battle of Gods movie takes place. I don't know if this is actually taking account to the Battle of Gods movie. I think it might be where none of that really matters. They're just pretending that didn't happen yet or anything. I think that kind of thing's going on. Same thing with Revival of F. Like none of that happens in the series. I don't think. But pretty much, you get to see what's going on with everybody after Majin Buu was beat. First of all, Goku's the most interesting. So now that the world is at peace, Goku has pretty much become a radish farmer. And he's the kind of person, he likes to fight, alright? He is not happy with radish farming, not at all. So it's kind of like he really just doesn't like the radish farm. But but anyway, you get to see that in the beginning because he looks so bored while he's doing it, and then you see Goten flying in, and I am warning Goten's way. They made Goten look way too young. Goten and Trunks, like they look way younger than they're supposed to at this point. But it's Dragon Ball. Sometimes they tend to do stuff like that. But anyway, pretty much you see Goku on his tractor farming and everything, plowing the fields or whatever it's called. And then you see Goten fly in, and he brought Goku some lunch. And Goku, of course, Goku being who he is, he's gonna stop working, tell Goten to drive the tractor for him for a little while he eats lunch. And of course, Goku demolishes the food pretty quickly, and then he starts training a little bit. When he's supposed to be working, he starts training. He goes Super Saiyan, and a lot of people were saying they didn't think it's going to be to where where they turn Super Saiyan anymore, since they can do Super Saiyan God now. There would be no point. I don't know. I don't know. I think they'll still go the normal Super Saiyans for a simple reason. Um, for a simple reason, if the series isn't taking the movies into account, that means first of all they haven't even found Super Saiyan God yet. if I'm not sure if that's how it's working, but if they're not taking the movies into consideration, Super Saiyan God doesn't even exist right now. So pretty much, yeah. And even if they did, wouldn't it be kind of like the other transformations, like the higher one you go, like if like you can't like I don't know how many of you remembered how Goku couldn't stay in Super Saiyan 3 for like forever. Like he had to change back eventually. Even the same thing with Super Saiyan 4, like the transformation, you couldn't have it last forever because it drained energy and everything. So I'm kind of thinking it would be the same situation there. So when he wasn't like going completely serious, he might start off with something a little bit lighter. But anyway, so after that whole fiasco, while Goku's training and everything, Goten's watching him train because it's his dad. He thinks it's cool to see him fight and everything, and he drives the tractor off straight off a cliff. Goku catches it though with his instant transmission, luckily, and then pretty much what happens next. Trunks comes into, I can't exactly remember how, and they're talking and everything, and Goten, but no, actually it switches to Gohan and Videl. Like pretty much at this point in time, Gohan and Videl are getting ready to get married. Um, and Gohan's talking to her about how he wished he could buy her more nice stuff because she's always buying him nice stuff. Cause he's like her family is like the second richest family in the world. And Gohan, well, his parents are radish farmers, so of course the money difference is going to be there, but she doesn't really care about the money. He doesn't have to worry about or anything. And this is pretty much where Goten and Trunks come into play. Goten tells Trunks he wants to get Videl a present since he's marrying his brother, and so they end up, the episode pretty much focuses around those two characters, Goten and Trunks. And they pretty much go out on this little adventure. Like it kind of reminded me of the original Dragon Ball series. But anyway, they go out on this adventure to find Videl a present, and I have to say it's pretty funny. Some parts of it, like first they go to a jewelry store and they're looking at the rings and everything, and this couple they're in there picking out a ring as we speak, and then all of a sudden you just hear Trunks like telling the guy, that's way too small, dude. You're gonna have to get her like the biggest ring in the store. And the lady's liking this idea and everything, but then they turn around and see them flying, and like they freak out and everything. And you also later on see them go to like a cosmetic shop because Trunks remembers Bulma saying something about cosmetics and everything. So you see them go there, and the old man, he's like arguing with the lady about how expensive all this stuff is, and he mentions like this hot spring near his house out in the woods or whatever that would be much better cosmetics than this for this price. And that's when Goten and Trunks, they decide they want to go to this hot spring, and so they go over and ask him, and they end up flying out there, and they get the water from the spring, and a giant snake attacks them. And it's kind of interesting to see them take a while to beat this snake, because at this point they're way stronger than this thing. But I guess they were trying to hold back or take it easy on, because there's always been that kind of side of sort of take it easy on animals in Dragon Ball Z. There's always been that side to this series, in my opinion. I can't remember one single time they've actually killed an animal in this show. But so they end up beating the snake up, and then they get the water for Videl, and of course it's just water. The old man wasn't being literal. He wasn't like literally saying that stuff works like spring like cosmetics. He was just saying it works good enough. But of course they take it back to Videl and they give it to her, and Gohan's there and everything. And pretty much at this point, Mr. Satan, who is Videl's daughter, he's richer than ever because everybody thinks he saved the world from Majin Buu and everything. And don't forget, at this point, they've already made the Whisk where Majin Buu isn't, like, where nobody remembers Majin Buu at all on Earth. And pretty much, he's doing like this little TV talk show at the moment, or he's doing like this little interview in the style of a talk show or whatever. And that's when Majin Buu like totally just bursts through the back door and starts saying, "I'm hungry." And Mr. Satan's trying to get him to go away, and he's like pissing him off because he's hungry and he wants to eat. And you see him get mad and the little steam come out his head, and Mr. Satan immediately starts to freak out because of course last time Majin Buu got mad was when he created Evil Buu. So they want to try to keep him calm. And that was really interesting to see Mr. Satan managed to convince all the reporters and everything that Majin Buu was just like a visitor from space that he decided to take up under his wing and train and everything. Of course he find some kind of crazy story, but anyway, the point with Mr. Satan I was trying to get to, at this point, since he was so rich, Mr. Satan actually built Gohan and Videl their own house to live in, which is pretty cool to be honest. But anyway, you pretty much see Trunks and Goten bring Videl the water at the end of this episode, and Videl's like, and when Videl puts it on, she realizes it's just water. She's like, oh, this is just water. But being a good person and everything, she tells them how much she loves it. She even fakes rubbing it on her skin a little bit like it's helping. She's just doing it because she wants them to think that it's like one of the best gifts ever. And, they're really happy that she enjoyed it and everything. And then at the end of the episode is when things start to get interesting. First, before I get there, we actually did see Lord Beerus in this episode. And if you don't know who that is, that's the god of destruction that we see in the movie Battle of the Gods. And pretty much he's on this planet and he's having dinner as he usually does. He has the whole planet prepare dinner for him, or just like the leader of the planet or whatever. And pretty much he thinks the food is greasy, so he blows up half of the planet for that. I mean, that seems a little harsh, but hey, he's the god of destruction, so what did you expect? But anyway, towards the end of the episode, you pretty much see Goku finishing up his day work of radish farming, and pretty much that's when Goten was telling him about what he did for Videl. He's like, oh, you did good, son. And that's when things get interesting, because Mr. Satan shows up, and Mr. Satan's like, after we beat Majin Buu, they gave me a ton of money for saving the world. And he's like, but at the end of the day, you really deserve that money because you're the one that really did all the work, which I couldn't agree with more. And I was actually happy to see Mr. Satan actually say that, because like the old souls made him, even though he did have some really great moments, he was kind of selfish in it and everything. I just really think this was a good way to show how good of a person he actually is. And of course, Goku, being as proud as he is, he doesn't want to take the money. He really doesn't. But Goten is like, if you take that money, Mom will probably let you go train with King Kai more often instead of being a Raz farmer. Because of course, if he gets that much money, I think it's like 10 $10,000 or 1 million. Yeah, pretty much $1 million. And of course, if he's that rich, he doesn't need to farm Rastas anymore. He's pretty much set, and pretty much that convinces him to take the money because of course it's Goku. He's bored being a Ras farmer. He wants to go back to fighting. He likes to fight, and you know he wants to be prepared if something else comes up, which obviously them showing Beerus in this episode shows that something is going to come up eventually. um but pretty much at the end of the episode, we see Goku show all the money to Chi-Chi, and she's like freaking out. And she's like, "Yeah, of course you can go train with King Kai. Just make sure you come back and forth because Goku tends to go away for a long time sometimes and stay gone. But anyway, pretty much, she's all good with it. Goku instantly instant transmissions the go to King Kai's. Like he doesn't even say goodbye. He doesn't go say goodbye to Gohan or anything. He instantly goes, which I guess he's going to be back. But I'm just saying you could at least waited. Like he was so desperate to get there, I guess. But anyway, so pretty much after that, Chi-Chi, she's talking about how much they can do with this money, how they can get Goten like some of the best teachers and everything, and how they can of course get him a good education, because she's crazy about her kids' education. We already know that from how she handled Gohan. And then that's when Master Roshi, I don't know, I guess he ran all the way out there. Like he comes busting through the door out of nowhere, and he's pretty much like, "Goku, you didn't tell me you got $1 million. We can buy so many interesting DVDs with that." And we all know what he's talking about. We know what he's talking about. But and Chi-Chi pretty much, of course, freaks out on him and throws him out of the house. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much where the episode ends, guys. Well, no, actually, one more thing happens. We see Supreme Kai and Old Kai on their planet, and they're pretty much looking up at the sky, and they say, "One more planet is gone again. What are we going to do?" Pretty much, I don't know. I guess they're talking about Beerus the Destroyer, and because in this series, there are going to be two different versions of Beerus and Whis. So that's going to be interesting to see. But anyway, that's where the episode ends. Now, my overall thoughts on this episode, I thought it was really cool to see Dragon Ball come back to life. And I think I really like this because if you were a hardcore fan of Dragon Ball Z, but you didn't like Dragon Ball GT that much, or you weren't too much of a fan of the way the movies went, like this is giving us a proper follow-up to the entire series, I think, because this is going to be pretty much the time period between the end of Dragon Ball Z. Well, no, not the end of Dragon Ball Z even. Pretty much from where they beat Majin Buu all the way until they get up to GT, I guess, or maybe GT doesn't exist at this point. Who knows how they're going to do that? But I'm pretty sure Pan is going to come into the show at some point as a baby, not like as not probably. She might get to where she was before in terms of age, but I'm guessing as a baby in this series. And one thing I really liked about this series that's going to make the night and day difference is this series isn't as serious as the usual Dragon Ball Z, like as Dragon Ball Z that we all know and love, which I'm okay with. I'm 100% okay with that, because I will say this, I enjoyed the original Dragon Ball where Goku was just a kid and Bulma and everybody was still all young. I enjoyed that way more than Dragon Ball Z. Even though I enjoyed Dragon Ball Z an awful lot. I just like the other one because it got a good mix of comedy and action in there, and that serious tone at certain points. It did just a great. It was great in terms of variety and, like, you know, keeping it mixed up and everything. I really like that about it. And pretty much with Dragon Ball Z, it, even though it did have some comedy, it did have some adventure, but nowhere near as much as the original Dragon Ball did. And I felt like it was a lot more serious all the time. So you know that's how I feel about it. And I honestly wouldn't mind a more comedic route, because it looks like they're sticking to the route that they did with the movies, which is obviously a pretty good little preview of what it's going to be like. It's going to be a little more comical, and at the same time it's still going to have really awesome action in it, because of course this premiere is setting something up, like I don't know what, but it's definitely setting up the action, so it's good to be ready for that. But anyway, guys, I think this TV show is going to be awesome. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, it's something you're really going to want to see. You can look it up on Google. You should be able to find the first episode of the series. I will be talking about the second one and third one and the rest of them probably. Who knows? Just tell me if you guys want me to make this a full thing. Hopefully in the future I'll make these videos a little bit shorter, because I know this one was kind of long. I'll try not to go as in-depth on everything next time, but I just feel I needed to this time. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave likes, comments, and tell me what you guys think about this down in the comments below. And I will see you guys later. ZFR out.